listen to Andrea.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Rosh Hashanah Tova. This is a shortened version, the meaning is, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. It's the greeting for the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah, which is this weekend. It's a time of reflection, of repentance, and a day of judgment. I feel it's good to recognize other religions and honor the work that they do in helping people to get to know the divine. It's also a time of new possibilities. But back to it being a day of judgment, that brings us on to my talk of the day, which is, what do we deserve? That's a great question. How many times have you thought of this as individuals, as a family, for your children, for a spouse, friends, or as a collective? The church, your company, your community, our country. Have you ever heard yourself saying, I deserve better than that? Or my son or daughter deserves a better education? Or they deserve more recognition at school or in sports or whatever? Or perhaps when your children are naughty or misbehave a bit, they deserve to be punished. This community deserves better resources. This country deserves better leadership. This earth deserves to be taken better care of. And I don't think there's anyone who can argue that statement. There's the old adage, usually said when you're unhappy about something, he, she, you, she'll get what she deserves. And I don't think that one is ever said very positively. When someone's worked really hard, and you're more likely to recognize these efforts and say, I hope that you get what you deserve. And you're so genuine about it. However, that's usually not said quite as assuredly as what people say when they're saying the negative one. Deserve. It's a verb. It's defined in the dictionary as do something or have or show qualities worthy of reward or punishment. Synonyms: earn, warrant, merit, be worthy of, be given one's due, entitle or quality. Deserve is a verb, which is an action word. And the main action of deserve is judgment. We judge, usually automatically. We don't even think about it. We automatically think what we deserve and what other deserves. Sometimes a situation will require some thought, some consideration, some pondering, and judgment before you or a committee decides what someone deserves. Then there's the judge, the jury, the mediators who listen to facts, opinions, speculations before deciding what a person deserves, be it a punishment, imprisonment, death, or in other cases, to be set free, or to be awarded a sum of money, depending on the damages that they had done to them. What do they deserve is what they have to decide. What is right? What is just? Deserve, judgment, and justice often go hand in hand. Deserve is also a matter of what is right. Women deserve equal pay to men when they are doing the same or similar job. People deserve to be free and not controlled by other people, be it people around them or by their countries. People deserve clean drinking water. Children deserve to be fed. Deserve is often used as a reward. You set your goal and you deserve a reward. Or sometimes it's used as a means of an excuse to give yourself that something you really want. And not always does that something you really want is necessarily a good idea. It might be something you shouldn't have, usually because it's out of alignment with either your health goals or your financial goals. Oh, I have been so good on that diet and exercise program this week. I deserve that piece of cake, or that glass of wine, or whatever calorific treat you deserve appropriate. Then there's the, I've saved so well recently, I did a great job this week. Or fill in the missing blank. I really deserve those new pair of shoes. Deserve. What a powerful word. What a popular word. It's so entwined in our everyday vocabulary, both what we say out loud and in that internal speak, that we probably don't have any realization of just how often we say or think that word. And how do we determine or judge what someone deserves? Well, that's usually based on how we were raised and what has influenced us in our judging meter. The factors or standards that we use as to compare and contrast and to measure things to. Our first and very strong basis is from our parents. That gave us our structure, that was structured by our parents, their beliefs that they instilled upon us. And our peers had and continue to have a strong influence on us. Our teachers at school, helping to shape us and teach us and what's right and wrong, giving us examples of history and psychology. Religion. The church beliefs that we were raised with, what that religion deemed as moral, right and wrong. And even the individual preacher, minister, rabbi, or priest of that religion and what they had strong beliefs in, or if they had an axe to grind. I remember working for a university professor who had written numerous publications, and on his bookshelf was a book called How to Lie with Statistics. That always disturbed me. I believe that a lot of religions or preachers use the same idea about how to lie or interpret the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, or similar, to make a point of the beliefs or the rules that they believe is the way, or their way. Our peers growing up, and even our peers now, help to influence our beliefs on which we judge. And the media is huge, huge on how we judge people. Celebrities, politicians, leaders greatly influence society's morals. Look how much things have changed in the last 50 to 60 years, for those that have been around that long. And thankfully, in a lot of ways, thankfully we've changed from the great excesses of the 1980s. But it's been not so good in other ways. The judgment of what is right or wrong, and what we are really worthy of, and what the rewards and punishments should be, of what we deserve. Can you imagine? I mean, they've so greatly changed on the many levels. In the 1930s and 50s, the splurges of today would have been unimaginable. Of course, it would have been hard for them to imagine splurging on a cell phone when they hadn't even been invented. Not even sure they've been thought of by that point. Yet there is a moral baseline that has stayed the same, one that we just collectively recited from the spiritualist principles. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's an excellent standard to live by. And it's the one that you will see repeated throughout all the various religions in one form or another. One that I particularly love is the American Indian saying of, walk a mile in my moccasins. It reminds you to see things through another person's perspective, through their eyes, and think about how you would want to be treated in that situation. This rule is just so basic and so perfect. What do you deserve? Well, the answer might be based in your mindset. That correlates to the spiritual law of the law of choices. It's up to you what old baggage you want to carry along with you. What old lifelong beliefs do you want to keep? Which ones still serve you, or are you just repeating because it's habit? It's your choice whose company you keep. Another old adage, birds of a feather flock together. We've all heard that one, probably a number of times while growing up when our parents kept trying to get you to be careful about who you hung out with. Do you surround yourself with positive, uplifting, kind people? Or is your friend group or the family members that you're around, are they more of a negative or harsh disposition? The popular motivational speaker, Jim Rohn, famously stated, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Did I hear a small gasp there? When you think about who you spend your time with. Another derivative of this is, show me your friends, and I will show you your future. So spend time with people that are in alignment with, people that you admire and that can help raise you and lift you up. The duo of Nicholas Christakis and James Fowler did the first major study on the range of social influences, examining data from the Framingham Health Studies, which is one of the largest and longest running health studies ever. Their first study was very easy and objective. It was on obesity. They found that if your friend becomes obese, you are 45% more likely to gain weight in the next 2 to 4 years. But even more surprisingly, they found that if a friend of a friend becomes obese, then you are 20% likely to gain weight in the next 2 to 4 years. That I just found remarkable, because even if you don't know that friend, I just found that part remarkable. And then they did the same study on smoking, and they were very similar results. But perhaps, to me, the most interesting study was on happiness. Happy friends do make you happier. Really, no surprise, right? I mean, think of how you feel when you're around your friends when they're happy. And then think about when you're around some of your friends who are a bit more of moaners, or they're angry or sad. I mean, you can just feel that difference and how it raises and lowers your energy. With the study, if your friend is happy, you have a 6% chance of being happier. And you think, well, 6%, that's not that big of a deal. However, in another study, they found that if you were to be given a $10,000 raise, that only triggers a 2% rise in happiness. Proving once again that friends are more important than money. The studies found it's a much larger than 5 people that you surround yourself with that affects your life. So it's very important to stop and think, who do you spend time with, and what do you spend time with? Do you spend your time with soap operas, crime shows, Game of Thrones, the news? Oh, the news. Gossip or reality TV shows? Sad music? Or do you let your children, or do you let your grandchildren play violent or negative video games? They can play sports video games, educational ones, creative video games, rather than Call of Duty or Need for Speed. Be mindful of what you're feeding your mind and emotions. Make your environment as positive as possible. Choose your friends wisely. Gently release and avoid negative people. Mentally, say a prayer for them. And then mentally, ask them to leave you alone. See that energetic cord between you just unraveling like a piece of yarn. Spend time with positive people, positive TV shows, positive uplifting music. There is so much beautiful, positive, uplifting music around. Go out into these beautiful surroundings we are so blessed with here in Florida. Nature is gorgeous. And then we have so much wildlife around here as well to enjoy. And while you're outside, nature is actually full of negative ions, which are positive to your energetic system. So it has been not only psychologically proven, but physically physiologically proven that those negative ions are very healthy. So it's healthy for your mind, body, and spirit to be out in nature. Go out, take your shoes off. To quote the musician Gary Go in his lovely song, Wonderful, we are all miracles wrapped up in chemicals. We are incredible. Don't take it for granted. No, we are all miracles. Again, in our spiritualist principles, we say, we are responsible for making our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey the natural law. In today's speak, that would be trending under the title of mindset. There's a plethora of podcasts, TED Talks, and various programs out there to help you work on your mindset. Really, there's just so much free information available. Just pop out onto YouTube. It is chock-a-block full of things that you can help yourself with. There's many ways that you can take control of your thoughts and change out those negative thoughts and behaviors into positive ones that will help you to live your best possible life. Listen to these if you need help, or if you just want a few pointers just to change and to just keep upgrading your vibration, so that you upgrade your mindset, that you can make your own happiness. And do you remember the law of attraction? That great law that we all know. Like attracts like. So the more you're happy and uplifted and raising your vibration, the more of the like-minded people that you will attract into your friend circle. And you are also serving the divine, God, universe, by being an example to others. Happy resides with peace, harmony, and the betterment of self and others. And we know the world needs so much more of this because it makes it richer for all of us. Every step, even the small steps that you can do to raise your vibration, be it happier, to be kinder, they are all huge. Do you remember the ripple effect? Do you know where you throw that pebble into the still waters of the lake and then you just watch that ripple effect go out? Well, that's effective. We have that same effect with our emotions and our happiness on our surroundings and actually throughout the world, because when you affect one person, they affect the next person and the next person. That ripple effect is just remarkable. I've heard a number of suicidal stories about the person who was intending to commit suicide that day. They had finally decided, had enough, couldn't take it. That was the day. But some one person gave them that kind smile, said something kind to them, did a kind act or gesture towards them, that was able to give them the hope that uplifted them for another day, and for them to take steps so that they could then improve their lives to become happier. And they're still alive today. And when you hear them tell their stories, again, you can hear it on YouTube, find everything on YouTube. To hear those stories is just so heart-touching. So never underestimate, because you never know how your kindness can affect others. As spiritualists, it's made very clear to us in our laws and principles that we choose what we deserve by our thoughts and our actions. It's not preset, it is not predetermined. We choose our own happiness or unhappiness. What do you deserve? I believe that we deserve to use our inner power and our connection to the divine to ask Source to guide us, to be happy, and to strive to live our best possible lives with joy. What do you deserve?